think, yep, we are good. What's up, guys? How's it going? Dave back again, No Coast Fantasy Sports, with you for some betting picks for Tuesday, June 22nd. Got a big slate. No NBA today on Monday. Euros, we're staying hot. Baseball, the Reds let us down. Brewers let us down, took it a little on the shins, but we're going to bounce back today because that's how it is, Got to take it one day at a time. Just got to be on the plus. So we're going to start off with baseball. So like I said before, the key to baseball, of course, is taking the first half run line. This truly lets us analyze the data from just a starting pitching, hitting perspective, and then lets us really narrow down the right picks for the right analysis and just make the best overall decisions, because that's what you really want to do, is make the best overall decisions so you have the best chance of winning, beating your book. So we got the White Sox in the first half money line versus the Pirates. The Pirates are awful. Giolito's got a 3.86 ERA. He's doing pretty good. Anderson's got a 4.89. But yeah, White Sox are hot. One of the best teams in baseball. They're doing great. Astros first half money line versus the Orioles. Greinke's doing really good. He's got a 3.74 ERA. And Lopez from the Astros is a 5.95 ERA. And the Astros are overall just a better hitting team. We got the Yankees first half money line versus the Royals. Garrett Cole, he's on fire. 2.31 ERA. He had a little bit of a slip from the spider tack. But it's nothing too crazy. His ERA is still good. And then Singer, 4.76 ERA. The Royals are also 14-19 away, and the Yankees are 19-17 at home. So pretty close record, and it also might be bad weather. So this one might just end up being a push or avoid for being a delay. So that's one of the ones where you might, actually want to stay away from. The Mets first half money line versus the Braves. I like Stroman, 2.35 ERA. And Morton's got a 4.03 ERA. The Mets also have one of the best home records in baseball at 21-8, while the Braves are just 14-17 away. So the Mets are pretty favored. I think they should be doing fine in this matchup. Cubs first half money line versus Cleveland. Hendricks got a 4.13 ERA versus Morgan, who absolutely got lit up. He had like a 12.0 ERA. But he got destroyed in his first outing, and I think the Cubs bounced back after today. It's a pretty evenly matched game. This is also one of the ones, too, where you can also stay away from. So if there's any two from this list of 7 games that you can stay away from that I recommend, if you're just not feeling them, are the Yankees and the Cubs game. I'm going to make 2 separate parlays. One that includes these games and another that does not include these games. And that's just going to be my approach to it. However you want to do it, whatever you're, most comfortable for your bankroll, most comfortable for your best decision making, do what you got to do. Giants first half money line versus the Angels. Des Clefini's got a 3.1 ERA, whereas Haney's got a 4.45 ERA, and I think the Giants are just the overall better team. And then finally, my last pick for baseball is the Mariners first half money line versus the Rockies. Flexen's got a 4.12 ERA versus Freeland, who has a 9.58 ERA. Ball's flying Colorado is actually 5-27 away. The game is in Seattle, my mistake. But Colorado just has a completely awful away record. So Rockies should have it. The Mariners should have it. The Rockies shouldn't be doing well. It's on paper it's a little bit evenly matched, but I prefer like the Mariners in this one. As far as NBA, Suns money line minus 210 are the odds for that. The simulation has the Suns winning at 70%. I think the Suns are just a better team all around. I think they take these 2 games at home, maybe split away, and then win in 5 games. But I think the Suns are just going to handle the Clippers in the series without Kawhi. Then we got the Golden Knights versus the Habs. The Knights are minus 225. Sim has the Knights winning at 71% for the game. I I like the Knights. No booster up for it. And then also FanDuel doesn't have any individual player props for it yet, which is really poor. That's the primary platform that I've been using after I developed a bankroll for NBA DFS. I save all my DraftKings exposure for once during the year, just for football season. I just prefer DraftKings platform for football and and MMA, but that's all I use DraftKings for. And then Euros. So we got pretty hot on Euros. We swept today. So Euros, we got Croatia money line at plus 120, the same as Croatia winning at 45%. Croatia draw no bet is minus 158. Those are really good odds for a draw no bet. The same has Croatia winning at 45% and drawing at 25%. So it's a 77% chance based on the simulations for that to hit, and at minus 158, it's not the best odds, but it's also not the worst for a bet that's pretty safe. Croatia versus Scotland going over 2.5 goals. The sim has it going over 2.5 at 55%. At minus 108, those are decent odds for a small gamble. If you want to go half a unit on that, full unit, whatever you feel comfortable with, go ahead. England, minus 195. Sim has England winning this matchup at a 65% rate. So obviously those are heavily depicted by the line. And then it to go under 2.5 goals is minus 144. It has this at a 60% rate for England winning 2-0. One thing that someone did bring up, the Hammer Down podcast brought this up this morning. I love those guys, they're great. Big shout out. But they have, I think a strong bet is also England draw no bet. I didn't check the odds on that, but I think that is a fine one if I want to go there. Tennis, which is actually happening in a few hours from now, probably like an hour and a half from when this gets posted on YouTube. So this is for the WTA. So Jelena Ostapenko, I got her money line minus 162. The simulation has her winning at 60% of the time. And then Coco Gauff money line minus 136. She's one of the premier names in tennis. Fantastic player. Minus 136, I think, is almost an insulting money line rate, but it has her winning this matchup on 63% of the time based on the simulation. And then lastly, we're going to go over some FanDuel single game picks. So FanDuel single game, it's different from DraftKings as to how DraftKings has salary differentials based on the multiplier for the captain spot, whereas FanDuel, everything is still based at the same rate. So there's 2x, 1.5, and 1.2 for MVP, Star, Pro, Utility. So based on that, there's no salary differential. The salary is just what it is. So you're paying, 2x for Paul George at $15K. That's what you're paying for Paul George. So you obviously want to play the higher end players, or who you think is going to obviously be the top scoring performers at the 2x position for the MVP. So I believe that is Paul George and Devin Booker, hands down, even based on the data from last game respectively. They're both doing insane. I think they're obviously going to keep it up this series. Both while Chris Paul and Kawhi is out, they're both going to have to step up for their teams. Next, we got Nick Batum. Definitely at the Star Pro Utility slot, $13K. Projections haven't come out for these yet. It's 1:30 in the morning as I'm recording this, but this is where I would recommend utilizing these players in your optimizers, and where to put them in your optimizer for them to work out. I would also play Devin Booker in the Star at 1.5 as well. And I would also do the same with Paul George. And strictly because you can alternate them, because one of them is going to be the 1 and the 2. Or if you want to ride some narrative, but it's pretty easy, this slate on FanDuel to fit both of them, strictly because FanDuel didn't price this accurately. They're just giving us a gimme, I suppose, but I definitely think it's completely mispriced. So Paul George 15K, Devin Booker 14.5, so both either the MVP or the 1.5. I don't think they touch the pro slots. Next, Nick Batum, either at the Star Pro Utility, probably mostly at the Pro Utility, 13K. Same thing with Reggie Jackson, 12.5. He's been balling out. He's definitely been stepping up. He's been starting at the point guard all year, so he's been doing solid. I definitely think he's going to be keeping it going. DeAndre Ayton's completely mispriced at 12K. DeAndre Ayton's just going to abuse them in the paint. I definitely think he's completely mispriced. He's definitely good at the pro, completely fine at the utility. I think you can star him because I think he definitely have like a 35, maybe like 37 point game. If he gets to 40, then he's completely balling out. But obviously, you definitely want Booker or Paul George there. Campaign is 11K on FanDuel. This makes absolutely no sense. Star Pro Utility, put him in either of these spots. He's going to do fine for his price point. He's going to do great. Like I said, like price point doesn't matter as much for MVP and Star, considering you want both these two, but you definitely probably want him at the 1.2. I have a build where I have him set at that right now, so I definitely recommend it. Jay Crowder, I can't really see Jay Crowder being more than Campaign. I think Campaign should be 11.5, but that $500 difference, I mean, I guess it is what it is. Pro Utility spot for Jay Crowder, 11.5. Terrence Mann, same thing, Pro Utility, 11K. I think that's a fair price point for Terrence Mann. Mikal Bridges, this is completely mispriced. Mikal Bridges should be at 12.5. He's going to be on Paul George. He's going to have steals, blocks. He's been averaging solid rebound numbers. He's been averaging about like 2-3 assists, and he's been scoring at a pretty solid rate. Like I think that Mikal Bridges possibly, like if the Suns make it to the finals, has a chance to be like a finals MVP based on prior history. When you think about it, like Andre Iguodala, who is just a defensive powerhouse, but was like scoring and coming in clutch, and you know he has strong similarities to players like that previously who won finals MVPs. So that's something also to keep an eye on. Marcus Morris. This is a buyer beware one. Marcus Morris has a knee injury currently. He's not on the injury report right now, but I don't believe he came back in the game Sunday. So keep an eye out on the news if Marcus Morris is playing. If he's not starting, I would not play him. And then that's it for all the mid-tier guys. And I would play Marcus Morris at the utility only. I wouldn't play him at the 1.2 if he was playing. I wouldn't bother. And then now we got some salary savers. So these guys have some good upside, and definitely save you a little bit under the 5-digit guys. So Cam Johnson, utility 8,500. He got 22 points last time, so that was pretty good. Torrey Craig, utility at 7,500. Torrey Craig definitely has some good upside. He's proven it before in the playoffs already, getting into some mid-20s games. He had 16 last time, but he can definitely get there. He has a mid-20 ceiling. That's probably where you'd want him to be. But I think it's fine. He's an alright play. DeMarcus Cousins. So DeMarcus Cousins this is actually like the interesting point. DeMarcus Cousins was getting some run last game, and he was doing very well. This is something that Ty Lue might make an adjustment with. And use DeMarcus Cousins like splitting time with Ivica Zubac, especially if Marcus Morris is banged up. So if he plays Cousins, probably like 24 minutes. Cousins played like 16 minutes last game and got 18 points, which is very solid. I think he can, if he plays like 24 minutes, like DeMarcus Cousins can get you like 20 to 30 points, which would be huge. So keep an eye out on how that's going to work, because he can definitely fit into some solid rotation if Marcus Morris is out. Lastly, Rajon Rondo. Rondo is obviously playing backup point minutes for Reggie Jackson. 6,500 I think is a bit of a misprice. I think he should probably be in this at least like 8K. But yeah, he had low 20s fantasy points last go. He's probably going to get like 15, 20 minutes. Sometimes he might split some time with Reggie. It depends on how the game goes, if it goes to blowout, if it's close. But he's going to relieve Reggie Jackson regardless. Reggie Jackson has been playing a lot of minutes, but he has been getting some good relief, and Rondo has been making good use of his time. So that's someone else to keep an eye on. So like I said, I'll probably have Paul George and Devin Booker at the MVP 1.2, and then all these guys through here, mixing up at the pro and the utility spot, and then probably save these guys as value. Also, like I said, keep an eye out for Marcus Morris for that news. So that's all we got today for Tuesday, June 22nd. Thanks for watching. Make sure you please like, subscribe. These are going to be coming out every night. I'm going to be making them a regular thing, and then we're going to be covering some NFL stuff as more news starts to break. They start getting deeper into training camps. We're going to be making a full-on draft guide this year. Same deal going through, but this one is going to be actually interactive. It's going to adjust based on the rankings we had last year, in comparison to your picks and who's available at the time and everything. So I think that's going to be really cool. That's something that I'm working on. So I'm hoping that I'm going to have that ready in time. If not, then that's something else that's just going to be in the future, but I should be able to pull it off. I got some time. But thanks for watching, guys. Once again, please like, subscribe, and I'll see you on the next time.